Hey there, Andrea Seidel here. Welcome to the Live Life Happy community. This is where we celebrate books that change lives and the authors behind them. And today we are featuring another amazing book, but welcome to the podcast and the YouTube or wherever you're listening to this. And this is where we try to suck out actionable nuggets from these amazing authors who put so much wisdom, education, experience and just effort into these amazing books. And I always say that if something sparks your interest, to for sure purchase the book and support the author because they have put so much love and attention into these amazing books. I always call them packages. It's a present. Every book is a present. And so what we're doing is we're going to suck out the actionable nuggets and I share what really stood out for me. And then obviously, purchase the book, support the author. But then if you want more, I always create action sheets. Feel free to go to the Live Life Happy community for more action sheets. And I'd love to have you there. Okay. So by the way, we lost like over 400 books. I'm an avid reader. I love reading. And I lost almost every single one of the highlights of these books that I've done in the past. But you know what's great is I always mind map all the books so I can just pick them up. And you know what? And I always say, and as my professor would say too, it's an upward spiral of knowledge. So we don't always just have to read books once. In fact, the more we read books is the more that knowledge, we have that upward spiral of knowledge. So I'm looking at it as a growth opportunity. So we're going to pick up this book club and these book features and slowly keep adding them to the community and feature them for you here. So get ready because there's a lot coming your way and a lot of exciting books because books change lives and we celebrate the authors behind them. Okay, so the book that I selected for this week to read is called The Ritual Effect by Michael Norton. And this book is about how habits, if we can go from habits to ritual, then we can harness this amazing power of everyday action. And so the ritual effect is a great book that I was drawn to because of the fact that I ritualize almost so many things. And what I do is things become habits when they become repeated enough. And so this book stood out for me because this book offers this idea to think differently. Instead of thinking of this big, massive goal, we can break it down into small little things that we can ritualize or that we can have intentional action and done with meaning. It can profoundly shape how we experience our lives and it can have this huge impact. So it's not about, rigid routines. That's not what he's talking about in his book. It's about having rituals so that it can give us structure, so it can give us comfort, so it can give us focus and joy in our everyday moments. Because the more and you've heard the expression, it's like, how do you eat an elephant? It's one bite at a time, right? And so the ritual effect can help us on so many levels. So that's what he talks about in his book. It's about how rituals can give us structure. They give us comfort and focus. And they also bring us a lot of joy into our lives. So Michael Norton is a professor at Harvard Business School and a behavioral scientist whose work, he really does explore how people find meaning, how people find happiness, and how they find connection. And what I love about his work is that it's so grounded in his research, and right. And yet his book has a really good human feel to it. And it's approachable. There's lots of actionable nuggets too. His book really matters because it shows us that happiness isn't only found in big, massive milestones. It's often created through tiny moments that we choose to mark with intention. So these tiny moments that we choose to mark and be intentional about can bring so much meaning to our life. So let's jump in, the ritual effect. Let's jump in. What I found absolutely intriguing and thought-provoking for sure is that rituals work even when we know they're symbolic. So, research shows that ritual can reduce anxiety, it can increase focus, it can increase confidence, it can help us process even grief or even help us with transition. I know for me, one of the transitions that help is the ritual of when I loved and lost someone to addiction, and would sometimes find cards or something that he's given me in the past. And one of my rituals was I I ripped it up into tiny little pieces and I put it into this little pot and I burnt it and let it go, let it burn, let it go. And that ritual alone felt like a weight lifted off my shoulders and really helped me with the transition and the grief associated with it. So yeah, so that's a ritual that helped me profoundly. Or a ritual that helps me as well process grief is writing in my journal. Every morning I do morning pages. It's not always about grief, but a lot of it is about, something I'm working through or goals that I want to focus on for the day or the energy that I want to face the day with. Or it could be gratitude, things I appreciate about someone or what happened yesterday. And so you can see how it really can help us in many, many ways. Rituals help us really work through, reduce anxiety. It can help us on so many levels. And it also can make experiences feel more meaningful. So, what we're doing, like, why are we doing this, these rituals? And so, what made me pause is how often we dismiss rituals as kind of silly. But I have a ritual every morning where I do my big, nice breath. I look out my window, I open my curtain, and I say my mom's mantra, which is each new day is a gift with infinite possibilities. And if the sun's shining, I feel the energy of the sun. And that's a ritual for me now. And I read my daily quote, or I'll ask Google for my daily quote for the day. And this is ritualized at this point. And then I also drink, whenever I drink my water, you're going to think I'm crazy. Whenever I drink my water, I say to myself, beautiful skin, nice and slim. And it rhymes, and it's just like it's something to remind me to drink my water. And like just these little tiny things that seem silly or unnecessary, they actually, in fact, they're really important. Our brains crave them. Our brains really want to have these things because they're reminders and they help us to be consistent and to feel this sense of consistency. And from happiness studies, the perspective is that rituals actually support to make things have more meaning, to make things feel more emotional, like in a good way. Like it helps us with emotional regulation in that, like that, that morning rise. And we just highlighted the expectation effect, but that also sets my day up for success. And that really calms my nervous system and it helps me with emotional regulation because it sets my day up feeling joyful and hopeful and brings me into the present moment. So you can see that, there are like these are some pillars of well-being, right? So if it can help us feel like there's more meaning, it helps us feel calmer, it helps us with focus and intention and confidence in our day. It's really powerful. Rituals can be very, very powerful. So we're getting into the ritual effect here. All right. So what I found, so sorry, those are the things I found intriguing. So now let's move into the action. So the action piece of it is that his book, he does suggest some of the ideas that we can use immediately, is this micro ritual. So creating small rituals that support you. So it could be simple actions like maybe before you go to work, or maybe it's like these are micro little rituals that are like, maybe you say something before meals, or maybe you have a certain time of the day where you take a rest and maybe you play one of your favorite spa like music and you just take a moment to check in. that could be a micro ritual. Or just, whenever you transition from something to another thing, there's an opportunity for a micro ritual. And this can really shift our mindset and adds meaning to our day and can feel very joyful. I mean, I have a ritual when I'm at a red light. I try to take deep breaths, or I try to balance all my chakras, my energy centers, and I go in and I focus on energy and the color associated with the chakras. So these are tiny little micro rituals that we can build into our day, that of the things attached to the things we're already doing. So he does suggest too to add intention to routine. So a routine becomes a ritual when we bring awareness and meaning to it. So instead of just starting to work, maybe before you start to work, you ground your feet and you stand in a superpower pose, or maybe you read your mantras for the intention for your work, or creating intention to our routine can add more meaning, and just that an increase enhance our presence, and that can be really powerful. What he's talking about in his book. And then he also talks about use rituals during transitions. So whenever you're starting something new, or beginning something, or ending something, or in stress, right? Or uncertainty, this is a great time where rituals can shine. I shared that very vulnerable one with you of what I did. I also set intention of letting that person go. And I wrote out my whole grievance story associated with it, and I let that go. So, and it is really powerful. Like, it can help us. So that's where ritual really shines, is we can use ritual during transitions, right? Maybe beginnings or endings, or like, things like that. So he talks about personalizing your rituals. This is the best part. This is where we can have fun, where we can play, where we can create what works for us, what makes sense for you. So, yeah, so it's just like everyone has their own things that they do, or you might want to start adding something in, or, finishing your day with yoga, or, creating these micro rituals, and opportunities, and just thinking about ways to make some of the moments throughout your day really meaningful. It could be as simple as like thanking the universe for your food before you eat it. And then mindfully eating, like maybe you make your meals with intention, and I'm feeding my family, I'm nourishing them, or I'm just making them up at this point. But yeah, personalizing your rituals. So in my own life, I've noticed that like small rituals, like how I begin my morning, or close my day, or approach my work day. I love these little rituals. Even if I'm hosting meetings, like having rituals in your meetings, people come to expect them, and it makes them feel this sense of comfort and ease as you navigate it. So just it's really great because it helps us feel this sense of joy and grounding and expectation and comfort and safety. And we can carry that through, and everyone will have that effect on them as well. Okay, so what I found meaningful and kind of what was moving for me is that we can design, right? That we get to design rituals, and that these rituals can actually bring so much joy. And they so do. Like, whenever I do rituals, like, you think about a ritual for around, the holidays, or like, for example, if we go to Florida for when I was a little kid, we always had a ritual. We would make the trip to Publix right away. We'd drop our luggage, make the trip to Publix, and we could all pick something that we really wanted. And this was a ritual my sweet parents would have. And obviously, at the time I would pick like chips and ice cream and, all the good stuff. And my brother would do cookies. And so that's a ritual that brought so much meaning and excitement and expectation. And I just loved it. So it's kind of like, it's amazing how powerful rituals are. We can design them. It makes me want to do more rituals, because rituals aren't just about control and habits. They're about care. And I really saw it on a deeper level from reading this book. And they help us to slow down and they really help us mark moments and to feel connected to what matters most and connected to ourselves and those around us. So I love this idea in this fast-paced world. Sometimes we forget, and we have this opportunity to use ritual to really help us access like this way of being that brings about more presence and gratitude and intention in our daily life. So really, really powerful, this book. All right, so I have to go to the sticky note. So the sticky note that I would put on this book, something that I don't want to forget, it would say, and I always write it out because I don't want to forget it, is ritual turns ordinary moments into meaningful ones. When you add intention to simple actions, you create calm, connection, and joy. You don't need more time or effort, just presence and purpose woven into what you're already doing. Oh, I love that so much. Such a great message in this book. The ritual effect reminds us that meaning isn't found, it's practice. It's something that we can do. We can add rituals to the most micro of moments and things. So I'm curious, what small moment in your day could become a ritual for you? And how might that change how it feels? So I believe that books truly do change lives, especially the ones that help us live with more intention. And we're always here celebrating books that support our well-being and the authors behind them. So come and join us. Join us at the Live Life Happy community where we turn great books into insights, action, and wisdom, and we do it together. So I'd love to have you there. And of course, if something sparked your interest here, definitely support the author and purchase this book, The Ritual Effect by Michael Norton. Thanks, everybody.